Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we're doing another pick a card. Today's pick a card, we are bringing through messages and guidance from the water realm, the water spirits. So like the pick a card I did the other day, guidance from your inner divine mother, I have images instead of piles to pick. So they're going to be on screen now. So you have pile number 1, which is the ocean, pile number 2, which is the flower, and pile number 3, which is the mermaid tail. See which pile you're drawn to. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual, and I will see you guys at your timestamps. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. So we are bringing through guidance and messages from the water spirits. I'm going to start with tarot and then we'll move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. So pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1, what guidance and messages do the water spirits have for my pile number 1s? What guidance and messages do the water spirits have for my pile number 1s? I'm hearing the Pocahontas song, Colors of the Wind. We have Ace of Wands, Ambition and Willpower. We have the King of Cups, Integrity and Stability. 2 more cards, please, spirit guides. Guidance and messages from the water spirits. We have the 7 of Swords, Confusion and Setbacks. And we have the Queen of Cups, which I'm going to have to cover up, which is authentic and virtuous. I'm going to cover this one just so YouTube don't take it down. And the back of the deck, you have the Tower, Disruption and Conflict. Okay. I don't know if some of you guys have been struggling to connect with spirit recently, or it doesn't even have to be struggling to connect with spirit. I feel like I'm looking at things maybe quite surface level. I feel like I'm looking at things maybe quite black and white. And it's interesting because I feel like you guys are usually the type to really see the depth in things, to really allow that energy to flow, to really tap into like a higher perspective. I feel like you guys are the type to do that. And of course there's usually like a yin yang where we can expand in certain areas, so we can go through an ascension and see things from a high perspective, and then as much as we tap into the high perspective, we need to expand into our root. But this feels a little bit different. This doesn't feel like you've been expanding in terms of maybe like the physical body or like the logical side. It doesn't feel like too much like how do I put this into words? I feel like I'm saying like a lot. Okay. I feel like I'm reviewing what I'm saying, and I'm aware of what other people are going to think. And I didn't feel that going into this, but now I do. I feel like I'm turning in on myself and I'm like, ooh, somebody would think this, or let me hide this, or let me cover this, let me cover this. And instead of being in that flow, like abundant state where everything's flowing, I feel like maybe I'm looking at other people's opinions or other people's projections, and I'm kind of tailoring myself in terms of, like I said, I feel like you guys are normally the type to see things from a higher perspective or see things deeper. And even when you guys may tap into that more grounded energy, I feel like you do it to a level where it's very healthy. However, I feel like when I'm tapping into like that higher perspective and I'm allowing that to flow, I almost feel like I feel like I'm questioning everything that's coming through. I feel like I'm questioning things. I feel like I'm just trying to look at it from a grounded perspective, and that's it. When I'm forgetting that sprinkle from that higher perspective that I usually look into, or that deeper perspective that I usually look at things with, I'm forgetting that they are meant to blend, they're meant to come into unison, they're meant to work with each other. Now, what I'm actually being shown is like a timeline where you guys would have been very connected to spirit, maybe very in your heart space, very connected to your deeper emotions. Then you were called to tap into your more grounded energies and tap into the, the 3D and that discernment, and maybe that's what you've been working on. However, I feel like because you had that expansion in that higher energy and you've been there and you've built that up, as you're learning to balance these energies out, I feel like in your everyday, in that 3D reality, in that more grounded energy, I feel like there's little bits of how it's coming through to me, I'm being shown like empty shells, and when I'm shown that, it's usually like little bits of debris or little things that are hanging around where they're kind of like in my subconscious mind, and they're causing me to they're causing stagnancy where things are meant to flow. Because when we have the soil and we are, you know, growing and planting, you know, planting our flowers, we're creating our garden, the water doesn't stay separate when we water it. The water goes into the soil and it works in unison to really feed and nurture and grow. They work together. Whereas I almost feel like now, because I feel like you're on that journey of maybe grounding into your energies a little bit more, or being more in the moment, or being more present, but I feel like there's little bits of debris, or there's little things in your subconscious mind that maybe you've picked up that you haven't realized. And I feel like as that water is starting to make its way in to blend in unison, I almost feel I'm rejecting then maybe that higher perspective. I feel like I'm rejecting you know, those deeper messages. I feel like I'm rejecting that instead of blending them together and making them come into unison, because I feel like when I'm in this earthy energy and I'm grounding into this earthy energy, I'm being reminded of certain projections people are making of me, or how other people look at it, and instead of blending it together, I'm almost batting away that really light, fun side of me, that higher perspective side, that deeper side. I feel like I'm kind of batting it away, which I feel like that's one of your biggest strengths with the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups coming through. I feel like that's your biggest strength. I feel like that's how you I feel like you're somebody that feels through life. I feel like you move through life in a very deep way, and I feel like that can cause you then to feel stagnant, because I feel like you guys are the type to usually get messages from spirit a lot, or have energies kind of like usher and flow through. Some of you guys may channel and that's how it comes through, or some of you guys may feel very deeply and that's how those messages come through. Whereas I feel like you being in the soil, it's almost like, okay, I'm in the soil and I'm kind of rejecting the water, I'm kind of rejecting that part of myself, and that's where I start to feel like that repressed feeling of other people's views, other people's projections. That's what I feel like I'm tapping into, and I feel like it's causing me to be in that mindset, and it's stopping that flow. So how can we work through that? Can you help me go deeper into this, please, spirit guides? Tap me into the water spirits for my pile number 1, please. How can they work through this? What do they need to do? How can my pile number 1s work through this? Because I feel like I've got a black veil over my head. And as I say that, the Fool is here with a veil literally over her head. Optimism and freedom. We have the 10 of Wands, responsibility and challenges. One more card. How can they work through this, please, Spirit? How can they work through this? How can my pile number 1s work through this? We also have the Hierophant, spirituality and knowledge. And the back of the deck, you have the 4 of Cups, contemplation and revaluation. How can they work through this? Okay, I'm being called for you to really sit with your feelings right now and where you feel you're batting these energies away. Because I feel like some of you guys may be feeling a little bit stagnant or confused, or not knowing like what the next step is. And I feel like this veil, it's almost like maybe blocking your intuition, or I wouldn't say it's blocking, it's clouding your intuition, and then it's clouding kind of like your inner compass. You're somebody that naturally flows. I feel like you're somebody that naturally looks at things from such a deep perspective or a high perspective. That's your compass. So I almost feel like that veil is coming in to kind of cloud that compass. So what you actually want to do is look at the veil. That's what I'm being called to pass on to you guys, is to look at the veil and really, really look at where you're feeling that stagnancy, why you're not feeling like you can look at things from that higher perspective. What projections are you playing in your head? Like when you go and do something, when you go and make that shift, or you try to make that change, what is playing in your head? What thoughts are there? What feelings are there? What doubts are there? And I feel like the more you sit with that and you allow them to reveal themselves, I feel like you're going to be able to really feel into them and allow them to flow out. I really want to take a look at what some of these doubts are though, because with the Fool card and the 10 of Wands, I feel like, I don't know why, I feel like I want to look at things more realistic. I feel like, oh, I'm dreaming too big, or I just want to look at things realistically, or I want to, it's like when you think of the Fool doesn't know what he's expecting. He's going on that journey, you know, the opportunities are endless. He's got all of these, you know, pathways in front of him. He's not worried about what he's going to come up against. He knows there may be challenges, but it's like that, there's that openness. Whereas I feel like, especially with the 10 of Wands, then it's almost like before I'm even setting foot on this journey, I'm putting the barricade up. I'm telling myself that this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and it's kind of like clouding, it's putting that fog over, instead of just allowing these twists and turns to come. It's kind of clouding that. And I feel like you guys have made very big shifts in your past. I feel like you guys have maybe jumped paradigms in the past. I feel like you guys have started new projects, or you know, jumped into new phases of your life, and you've just done it so optimistically, like you weren't really thinking about what was next. Whereas now I feel very, very cautious, even though I feel like for a lot of you guys, a lot of these twists and turns, they worked out for you a lot in the past. I don't know why, but I feel cautious, and I feel like it feels like it's coming from outside, or it's coming from, where is it coming from? Tap me more into this. See, it's hiding from me. Like, I'm tapping into it and it's hiding from me, and I don't normally get that. I feel like I have to dig for it, which is interesting because I feel like you guys are very clairsentient. That's why I'm being sat in feelings and I'm having to move around. This feels like it's hiding from me for some reason. Normally it just reveals itself, but I feel like I'm going on a journey, so bear with me. What is this feel? Where is are these feelings coming from? What is this doubt? Spirit of Rings, productivity and endurance, and then we have the Two of Wands, independence and achievement. There's like a lack of confidence I'm feeling. Five of Pentacles, insecurity and recovery. There's a kind of like a lack of confidence. Like I feel like I'm not believing in myself. I feel like I'm not seeing that light in myself. I'm not seeing yeah, I feel like there's a lack of confidence. Like, why do I feel that there's a lack of confidence that's coming through, and you're wanting to look at where that lack of confidence is and feed it and build it up, if that makes sense. That's what I feel. I feel like that's where it's coming from. It's making me feel like I'm being dismantled. I feel like there's that lack of like fire within me, and I would implore you guys to really sit with that and tap into that and see where it's coming from, because I feel like in this energy then that I kind of want to hide. I kind of feel like I don't want to be seen. And some of you guys may even be having some wounds coming up in terms of energies from the past where you felt insecure, or you felt like you weren't good enough, or you were kind of like put down. But whatever it is that's causing you to feel that insecurity or feel unconfident, I would implore you guys to really sit and feel into it, to allow those emotions to come up, because I feel like, I don't know why I'm going round and round in circles. Like I feel like I'm replaying something. So I don't know if there's something that happened to you guys in the past that's been super, super repressed. And what's interesting is I feel like it was so repressed before. When you've made leaps and bounds before, you kind of just looked away from it and jumped. Whereas I feel like, I want to say these days, that's what I want to say, these days, I feel like you guys are more susceptible to listen to those feelings and listen to those doubts and listen to that imposter syndrome. So while it's coming up, I feel like because it's here, I feel like you're aware of it. I feel like you're aware of where there's insecurities or where people may be projecting onto you. I feel like you're super aware of it, which is showing me that you are open to these energies flowing. I feel like it's there. But this is the first time maybe you really had to deal with it, and I feel like that's why maybe it's interfering with your ability to see things from a higher perspective, and you know, really trust yourself and trust that flow, because this is the first time you really opened that box. This is the first time that part of you has felt like it can flow out, and that's why you're being called to really sit with those feelings, those insecurities, and why you feel dismantled and why you feel like you're not good enough. Because I feel like the minute you pass through that, it's going to be cleared, and you're going to be able to be back to that full energy where you're able to flow and tap into, you know, higher perspectives and do that. But right now I almost feel like I'm looking at things maybe from a 3D perspective, or looking at things from, you know, other people's perspective. I'm letting other people's opinions interfere, and it's because this box is opened, and that energy it feels connected to is interesting. I feel like it's connected to the solar plexus, but I also feel like there's an energy in the sacral. I almost feel like there's memories being stored, and there's an energy being stored there. I feel like there may even be an activation in the sacral. It doesn't feel solar plexus. It feels like there's going to be an activation in the sacral when you rip this band-aid off and you really feel into it. I feel like I want to sit in meditation and go back to like a specific time where I felt super insecure, or whatever it is that's coming up right now. Or when you go and take those leaps and bounds, what is it that's making you feel like you can't? Like I feel like the more you tap into that and you feel into it and you nurture it, I feel like that is when that sacral chakra, I feel like there's an activation. There's like a feeling. I need to sit, I need to validate these feelings, I need to purge it out, and then I feel like there's that activation in the sacral, where I know the sacral is water, but I feel like there's almost like this fire kind of like through my body where I feel I'm hearing grease lightning, where I see your head down, tunnel vision on a roll. So if there's something you've been wanting to bring in, I feel like feeling these emotions and really tapping into them, and really maybe meditating on it. And I'm hearing weeping, so maybe crying and getting that out emotionally. I feel like that is what's going to kind of like clear that part out. But I would really sit with your body as well and see where those energies are going, especially if they're stored in certain parts of your body. But I do feel like it's around the lower chakras, so the stomach area and the sacral area and down. That's where I feel these energies are stored. I'm also being told music also is going to be something that is going to be really helpful for you guys as well. But if you guys could do like an energy clearing, if you guys already do that on yourself anyway, like if you guys are Reiki healers or, you know, work with energy, if you guys can do that, perfect. If you guys could then, if you know you don't do that, if you could find like practitioners that do that, I feel like that would be very beneficial for you as well. But a lot of the times we can clear without even, you know, there's different ways in which we can do a soul retrieval and clear. And I feel like I don't know what that noise was then, but it was outside. I feel like you just sitting there, tapping into that memory, tapping into those feelings, nurturing them, kind of going back to that time period and allowing the feelings to come out. I feel like for a lot of you guys, that would be enough. Pile number 1, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 1. Any more guidance and messages from pile number 1, please? Guidance from the water spirits. I almost feel like I've got a plug down in my energy right now. I feel like that's how you may be feeling, like there's a stagnancy, but it's almost because there's like a plug down, like I'm repressing. I'm putting a shield over that like compass. We have letting go. But it's like I'm listening to voices that maybe aren't even there anymore. Like these could be people's opinions from my childhood or people's opinions from, you know, and it doesn't even have to be other people's opinions. It's almost like people's judgments maybe from when I was younger, or, you know, trigger warning, some of you guys may have been like bullied when you were younger, or bullied in school, or again by like parents or family members, and it's almost like that feeling, it's causing me to not want to get out there or push forward, because it's like it's dismantling that courage and that confidence. And I feel like I want to really feel in where it's hitting so I can feed it, I can nurture it. I want to purge it out, feel into it, let it pass, and then I really want to nurture it. I want to feed it, I want to pour into it. We have the future. Letting go of the future and go with the flow. Those are the cards that you guys have. The back of the deck, you have dreaming. See, I feel like naturally you're somebody that flows. I feel like naturally you're somebody that connects to spirit. I feel like naturally you're somebody that sees deeper. But I almost feel like I want to tailor myself to maybe what's around me, or I'm shutting that off for the minute. I'm shutting all of those colors off. I feel like there's a part of you that, and you tapped into this version of you like so much. I feel like there was a time where this version of you was so bright, and this is a version of you that was very like open. How do I put this into words? It feels fiery is what it feels like. I feel very fiery. I feel very creative. I feel like I'm kind of like gone with the wind, like I'm just kind of like flowing. I feel very like I feel like I'm enjoying making things look beautiful, or making myself look beautiful. I feel like I'm seeing the beauty in everything around me. I've got so much love to give, and I feel like right now in your energy, it's almost like you might have repressed that version of you, and you may have like hidden those traits, but I feel like those were the traits that really connected to you, to your inner compass, and really connected you to your heart space. If you could listen to heart chakra singing bowls, I feel like that would also be something that would be very soothing for you right now. I don't see a block in your heart space at all. I see it flowing completely. I just feel like there's a veil over my energy right now, and it's because I've opened a box. I repressed this. Like this is an energy from the past that I repressed, and I put that box so deep in my subconscious, and I just kept on being this light that I was. But I knew that there was a time then where maybe I had to tap into discernment, not do all of that. So I was sorting out all of the boxes and working through them. And now I have this one box that holds, you know, those projections from other people, or, you know, where other people try to target my confidence, and I know I have to open this. So I open it, and I'm feeling, and these feelings are coming out. But now that I'm sitting in them, I'm now I feel like I'm back in that energy from the past, and now I've kind of put this veil over me for two reasons. It's not other people doing it, it's you doing it. It's like, it's other people's energy that I feel like you repressed, and I feel like you've put that veil over. The first thing is protection. I almost feel like I'm protecting myself from hiding away. I feel like I'm protecting myself by not allowing these energies to flow. I feel like I'm protecting it because why am I protecting it? I feel emotional saying this, by the way. Why am I protecting this part of myself? I feel really emotional as I say that. Like, I don't know why I feel like people are making fun of me, or people are putting me down, or people are, like, I'm watching people make glances at me. Like, I'm like remote viewing here. Like, I'm catching people maybe make glances at me, or people kind of rolling their eyes at me, or people, really targeting me in like group conversation. That's how I feel. So if that's your experience, I'm tapping into that. But then I also feel like the energy that I'm tapping into as well, I'm given so much because I love everyone, and I'm bigging everybody up, and I have that energy very, very open. But then people are just taking it, just taking it. And then I almost feel like I don't trust myself as well. So it's like I need to keep that back for me, to the point then that I'm not even giving it back to myself. I'm just kind of repressing it. I'm not even pouring it into myself. I'm just repressing it. And that's a beautiful part of you, that you've learned discernment now, so you can tie them together and balance it out. But there's a lot of that. There's that coming through. There's me feeling like I'm being made fun of, or people are, you know, all of that. And then I also feel as well, because there was another thing. This part feels like it's running away from me. What is the other part? What is the other part? I feel like I'm covering myself, like I need to hide myself. I need to like hide away. That's why it keeps running away, because I feel like I need to hide away. I need to hide away. Like, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be looked at. I don't want people to see me, because then I feel safe. I feel like you're aware, you shine very bright, whereas I feel like I feel safe if I'm hiding my light away. And this has all been in the box. You've opened the box. And now these emotions and these feelings are coming up. You're being called to really, really sit and feel them, because that box then is going to be cleared. And you'll be able to shine and blend these energies together. You don't have to do much but feel this. You don't have to do much but feel it. And it not in the sense of I'm introspective and I'm analysing it. You don't have to analyse it. You don't even have to analyze why people move the way that they do, because sometimes there isn't even an answer. Sometimes people just do things just because they're mean, and it's as simple as that. But you need to feel into it. That's what you need to do. You really need to feel it and nurture it and hold space for it. Hold space for yourself. Because I feel like once that box is cleared and it's put down, I feel like naturally what I'm being shown then is the soil and the water being, it's blending together. The soil and the water is mixing together, and the flow is growing again. We've got that mixture here. The letting go in the future, that's what's happening. This box right now and these emotions, I feel like you may be feeling stagnant or feeling like you don't know what's ahead. I feel like you kind of have all of the intuitive nudges, all of what you actually need is already within you. I just feel like what's happening right now, if you're feeling confused or stuck, is because there's a lack of flow. And it's because as you've opened this box, you've naturally opened this. You're already doing the work. You've opened this box. The energies are flowing, and you've put that shield over you. Let me hide away. Let me protect myself. Let me hide away. And that's where you want to feel, so that this shield literally will just fall, and you'll be able to run forward. And I feel like that's what's going to be happening for you guys. And I feel like music and really tapping into those feelings, music, movies, just anything where you tap, like, because that part of you is such a light, where you see things from a high perspective, where you're daydreaming, where you're listening to music, where you're connecting with spirit. Like, that part of you is such a light, and it's like your wand, it's like your magic wand. And I feel tapping more into that and using that as that light, and you know, that daydreaming, you know, energy or whatever it is, listening to music, I feel like it's going to help that flow come back, because I feel like it's going to help push these emotions through. I feel like it's going to help you you know, pass those energies through. And again, if you do feel you know, if you do Reiki or you do energy healing yourselves, I feel like that would be very beneficial for you. But also if you could reach out to people that do that, if you did feel like you wanted help. But I feel like a lot of you guys could do this just by feeling, because I feel like you naturally work that way anyway. And yeah, I feel like that's what you're dealing with right now. And if you guys can keep the colors orange and yellow around you right now, I feel like that would be really helpful. Those two colors would be really helpful for you guys. So yeah, pile number 1, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pal 2, welcome to your reading. So we are bringing through guidance and messages from the water spirits. So you guys chose the flower in the water. I'm going to start with tarot and then we will move on to your oracles. So pile number 2, tap me into the collective of my pile number 2s, please. Tap me into the collective of my pile number 2s. Guidance and messages from the water spirits. That card just hit me in the face. We have the Queen of Pentacles, which I'm going to have to cover up. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2. Oh, your cards are flying away. Flowing away from me. Spirit of Swords, eagerness and tenacity. 2 more cards, please, spirit guides. Guidance from the water spirits for my pile number 2. Yeah, your cards are full of energy. We have the 8 of Wands, alignment and progress. And we have the World, achievement and fulfillment. And the back of the deck you have the Tower. Okay. Queen of Pentacles, Spirit of Swords, 8 of Wands, and the World. Have you guys been feeling like you need to clear things out recently, like getting rid of old things, cleaning out your home? Because I'm being shown somebody picking up a rug and dusting it off. Like I feel like things are flowing off. I kind of also feel stagnant, but not in a bad way. It's not the same as pile 1 either. It's like a stagnancy in the sense of, oh, I'm ready to move now. You know, when you have loads of energy and you need it to go somewhere, that's what I'm feeling. And it wouldn't shock me if over the next, I would say, couple of weeks to a month, I would say over the next 2 months, you start to feel, and it may not even be right this second, but you may start to find it'll happen over the next couple of weeks, where you're going to start to feel like you have loads of energy. I kind of feel like my cup's been full, been filled up. Another thing that I'm being shown as well is some of you guys at night may find that you're seeing spirit around you. It could be in REM state, REM state, whichever one you like to call it, where, you know, you're seeing images, or I find this happens sometimes with like an activation. You're feeling energies moving up and down your body. You may even be getting visions of somebody in front of you or somebody working with you, because I actually see spirit around you quite strongly at the moment. I'm literally being shown somebody laying in bed and I'm being shown a spirit team around them, helping them. Like, it's interesting because the way I'm being shown it is like a lymphatic massage, like energy's being moved around. But I also kind of feel like there's like a top up happening for you. Like there's almost like, I feel like training wheels are coming off, and I feel like I'm being shown somebody with like their car at the gas station, like filling it with gas. That's how I feel. So I see spirit around you helping you top up your energy right now, which is quite interesting because there's a lot of energy. I kind of feel like before I felt fatigued, or I felt like I needed to chill, or I needed to fall back. Now I feel like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, I need to rearrange this. Like I almost feel like I want to get things in order. And I'm being shown like lots of fire energy coming in. So I would pay attention to every little intuitive nudge you're having right now, and I would also really pay attention to your body and your feelings right now, because you're going to start feeling the urge, like I need to go out, you know, into the forest, I need to be outside in the sun, I need to declutter, I need to do this, so I need more of this. I feel like there's a lot of downloads that you're going to be receiving in terms of this next phase. I feel like you've wrapped up a cycle, which is where this top up is coming from. You know, sometimes when we let's just say before we go through like an ego death, or before we go through, like, we end a cycle. Now sometimes people can feel like they're mourning something, but other times other people will feel like they've reached a completion and everything feels really good. Do you ever get those time periods where everything feels very bright? You feel like you've figured it all out and there's this bright understanding. That's what I'm feeling in your energy. But the next phase that you're going on, I feel busy, and I feel like there's a lot of energy being exerted. So it doesn't necessarily feel like you're about to go through like another awakening or like an ego death or anything like that. I say another because I feel like you've been on one before. This feels like I'm moving things. This feels like I'm getting ready for things, especially with the decluttering at the beginning. I feel like I'm making way for new energies to come in, which again, this could be represented in your physical world, where you're feeling the need to declutter, get rid, let go of things, because there's new coming in. But again, this is also, I feel spirit working through emotions and energies and all of that while you're sleeping. But I feel like you're going to start getting downloads soon of where you want to move next. I feel like you're going to, I see a shake up in the routine, and I also feel like there's going to be a shake up in the home. So for those of you that are wanting to move or wanting to change, I see a shake up of the home. I see you guys moving home or changing. If you don't want to do that, it could just be your routine. It could also be you're just redecorating as well. It could just be your inner energies that are shifting. But I do see right now and in the next 6 months, or Spirit saying is shorter than that, it could even be in the next 4 months. So from now, if you're watching this when I put it up, we're going into July, so that would be July, August, September, October. Your life is going to be very different. Your morning routines are going to be very different. What you're eating is going to be very different. How you're dressing is going to be very different. How you're looking at life and where you want to go is going to be very different. There's actually a very big shake up with the Tower card being at the back of the deck. I see you. I feel like the stabilizers are coming off. I feel excited. I feel like there's things I'm going to be doing. I feel like my head's down. And again, the 8 of Wands, there's going to be that shake. There's going to be that shift, because with the World card, there's that ending of a cycle. But I kind of feel like I'm out there again. I kind of feel like I'm coming out of Wonderland, if that makes sense. Like the rabbit's coming back up, or Alice is coming back up, you know, with a new perspective. Like that's kind of how I feel. So maybe you went on you know, a big journey or a big cycle where you were a lot more focused on your inner world and what was going on there, and now you're kind of applying that to your everyday reality. That could be the case. But I see a lot of, I just see a lot of movement. I'm being shown somebody go-karting and moving around the track really, really fast. So I keep being shown like life getting a little bit faster. I'm hearing Fast Times by Sabrina Carpenter. I feel like things are accelerating, if that makes sense. And what I'm seeing as well is my vision's very clear, because Spirit's giving me downloads of where I want to go, and I'm really following it. So like I want to jump on, I want to apply for this in my career, I want to step into this job role, or I want to take this course, or I want to you know, I want to like move into this house. And it's like these little initiatives, like these little nudges. Not only are you like tapping into them in the sense of you're getting those downloads and running towards them, but I'm also picking up like feelings as well. Like I feel the need to do this, or I feel the need to do that. I'm getting images in my head, and it's like, right, let's do that. I feel very inspired, very, very inspired. That's how I feel tapping into this pile. So I would say I feel like you're already doing everything that you kind of need to do. I think this is more this, I feel like I'm giving you a menu of kind of what's to come. But if you have been feeling like, especially at night, I feel as well like at night I'm full of energy. Like I feel way more full of energy than I used to be. But I see you guys when you're sleeping, I'm being shown like spirit around you, helping you like clear things. I will also say as well, I feel like if you guys have been thinking back to people, and I don't feel too much of an emotional weight when I'm saying this. So if you guys have been thinking back to people, or if you guys have been like, people have been on your mind from the past, this is very normal when we end, you know, a karmic cycle and new energies come in. Then maybe people just show up, connections may just show up in terms of like, they may be in your thought process just because they're flushing out. So that may be happening, but I feel like things are happening quick. So as quick as, and you've probably already are aware of this. So like you'll think of someone, you may have like a bit of a feeling, you'll feel into it, and then boom, it's past. You're not thinking of them the next day. I feel like that may be happening for you guys, but I see as quick as you're feeling it, as quick as you're tapping into it, boom, it's gone. And this reading also feels very short and to the point, because I feel like your energy's being brought into the physical, like your energy's being topped up and you're moving and you're listening. There's not too much else to really pull other than to say that you've just completed a very big cycle, a really, really big cycle, pile number 2. And it's like I'm being shown Moana, where like the water kind of like brings Te Fiti's heart to her, and Moana, like even when she goes into the water, the ocean like brings her back to the land. That's how I feel, and I feel like you're listening to yourself. Your energy feels very clear. I feel like I'm listening to myself. I'm listening to these nudges. I'm flowing. I'm listening to these feelings, and it's bringing me back into the present. It's bringing me here. Yeah, so I feel you're jumping into a new cycle head first as well. Like Spirit's showing me, like, you know, they say like if you have a baby and you put them in water, they naturally know how to swim. I don't know why that's what I'm being shown. I'm being shown like a baby being popped into the water and then it just naturally knows how to do a backstroke. Like that's what I'm being shown. You're just listening to your energy. So you have turn away. Your reading might be a little bit shorter because I feel like everything's coming in to the point. And I think that's because your energy's starting to accelerate, and I'm tapping into that. We have truth, and we have discernment. Back of the deck, you have re-energize. Well, that's what you've been doing with the re-energize card. You may have even found, like, especially if you went away to do like a lot of inner work, or even if you were on some sort of like awakening, you know, kind of spiritual journey like that, you may have felt like for a while you might not have been too, like, you may have feel like that energy would have passed. You're not too much caught up in like the old emotions or anything anymore. You kind of feel like you might have arrived, but then you might not have felt the need to like rush forward yet. That was designed that way. You were recalibrating, you were resting, you were just like the body needs to go to sleep and rest. I feel like that was that period for you. You were resting out, you were taking your time, and I feel like the energies are kind of like topped up now. The energies feel like they're being restored. And I think part of this as well is I think you've cleared so much. There's a lot of gaps in your energy because of what's being transmuted. And I feel like it's a lot of it's being returned maybe at the same time as well, which is where that spark and that fire energy is coming in. But expect a lot of inspirational thoughts and ideas and where you want to go and mood boards. I'm just being shown a lot of ideas and, you know, a lot of excitement. So expect a lot of that to come in soon because I feel like you're there. And with turn away, you know, with all the fish going that way, and it's like turn away, I feel like you're listening to this. I don't see resistance. Your energy feels very clear. I don't see any resistance to what's coming in at all. I see it flowing really, really well for you. And I also see as well, because with the truth card and discernment, what I'm being shown is I see you looking back at things you would have already passed through. So like old connections and, you know, whatever it is that would have hurt you. I see you seeing the truth, but I don't see you feeling stuck there. Like I see you kind of like, I see a level of acceptance is what I'm trying to say. A level of acceptance. Like, you know what? I didn't like when you did that, but I'm not going to hold on to it. I've cleared the wound. I've cleared the energy. I know what to look out for now. You do you. All the best moving forward. Like there's such a black and white feeling towards certain things in your past that maybe it took you a while to clear. There's this energy of like, I'm not even going to pour my energy into it. My energy's here and I like where I'm going. You feel very clear. You're doing a lot of work on yourself. I can see it. You feel so clear, like everything's just flowing. And you may be the pile, and I might have even said this to you in other readings, you may be that pile that may not even be super drawn to like watching pick a cards or having readings like that, you know, over this next period for you, because I think everything's just coming in instantly. I think you're just listening to yourself, and I think that you've worked on yourself and those energies to know what to listen to, if that makes sense, because you feel very clear, like you just know, you know, and that's the point of these readings. They get you to listen to yourself so that you can just allow these energies to flow, and I feel like you're there. I feel like you're there, which is really beautiful. I love that. So pile number 2, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pile 3, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what guidance and messages the water spirits have for you. So you guys chose the mermaid tale. I'm gonna start with tarot and then we'll move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. So pile number 3, please, Spirit Guides, guidance from the water spirits for my pile number 3s, please. Tap me in to my pile number 3s. We have the Hermit. Let me cover her up. Okay. Guidance and messages from the water spirits for my pile number 3s, please. The first thing that I want to say, we have the 4 of Swords, solitude and healing. You're allowed to feel angry, and you're allowed to feel frustrated, and you're allowed to have these more quote unquote darker emotions come up, or these emotions that we're kind of told to repress and not feel into. You're allowed to have them. You're allowed to do that. And when I say you're allowed to have judgments, what I mean by that is, I'm not saying, oh yeah, go around and judge everyone and be mean. I don't mean that. I mean it from the sense of our own judgments in a lighter perspective, and our own opinions in a lighter perspective. They're a part of our ego, and when it's off balance, that can come out as people just being judgy and being mean and not looking from the other person's side, which you don't do at all. I don't see that. But because there's a lot of repression on that side, I feel like you haven't flexed it enough to the point that I kind of feel like I'm pushing down maybe when I have discernment, or I'm getting frustrated, or I don't think that person meant it in that way. I think they were, you know, they were meaning it in a malicious way. I almost feel like I'm pushing it down. I'm hiding it away, because it's almost like, why should I feel that way? Like, I shouldn't feel like that. I need to look at it from a, you know, a lighter perspective, or a loving perspective. There's something you're thinking about right now that you are kind of like on par with. Like, your discernment is right there. And I don't know what that is, but I almost feel like any anger or frustration that I have right now, I feel like I'm repressing it. Or there's like maybe an opinion or something that I've noticed where I feel like I might be repressing it. And there's a message right now that feeling that you're getting, or that, like, it could be somebody you're around and you feel a bit agitated around them, or you don't feel completely comfortable in terms of like opening up to them, or you don't feel like, I feel like I'm harvesting energies, I'm getting really, really frustrated. Listen to your intuition there and listen to these feelings. And if you are feeling frustrated or angry or whatever it is, allow those feelings to pass through. I can't remember who it was. They said something on Twitter, and it was like, when we feel anger, when we feel that emotion, it's our inner selves, it's our ego, it's our soul letting us know that we've been disrespected. Don't repress those feelings down for the sake of other people, is a message coming through. You're allowed to be frustrated, and you're allowed the right to like have opinions and have your say, and have that level of judgment. Like, we're given that emotion for a reason. And yes, okay, when something is out of balance, that's when being too critical, and you know, it can turn bitchy, it can turn patty, of course, but I almost feel like it's out of balance in the other way, where I kind of feel like I'm excusing other people's behavior, or I'm turning in on myself, and I'm telling myself, well, I shouldn't feel angry, and I shouldn't have this opinion, and that, you know, I don't have the right to really feel that way, when you're discerning something, or your intuition is picking up on something. You know what I mean? And that's where the message is really coming through. Like, do not repress these feelings for the sake of others, especially if you're the one being disrespected, or you're the one having things said, you know, towards you, or you're the ones being hurt. Like, you were right the first time, sort of thing. That's what I'm really feeling. There's something, there could be somebody around you, or something that you've picked up or noticed, that you may just be telling yourself, I shouldn't be looking at it that way, but you're right to feel that way, and you have the right to those emotions if you are feeling that way about somebody, because I'm being told that you guys are very emotionally intelligent. I feel like that muscle you flexed a lot. I feel like you're a very compassionate person. I feel like you see things from other people's perspective. You have a level of understanding. So trust yourself when you're having, you know, these discerning thoughts, and trust yourself when you're having, you know, when you're feeling frustrated or you're feeling angry, because there's a reason you're feeling that way. And it's trying to tell you something, and you're being called to honor that part, because we're taught a lot to repress those sides, you know, the judgment side, the anger side, the frustration side, but we forget that they also have a light to them, and they also have a meaning to them when they're in balance, and that's a big message that's coming through. So pile number 3, guidance and messages from the water spirits for my pile number 3s, please. We have the 10 of Wands. One more card from this deck, please. we have the Seven of Pentacles, investment and diligence. Okay, the Hermit, the Four of Swords, the Ten of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles. In the back of the deck, you have the Four of Pentacles, conservation and practicality. Yeah, I'm not shocked that cards come out at the back of the deck, the Four of Pentacles, because I feel, how do I put this into words? I feel like I kind of, like, I'm feeling like I don't want to be around somebody, and you have the right. I don't know if you've said, like, I don't want to be around this particular friend, or I don't want to be around this particular family member, but I almost feel like every time I'm flexing what I feel or what I'm thinking, somebody's telling me why I shouldn't do that. Like, I don't know if I want to go and do this, and then somebody's telling me, well, you should, like, you should do that. But it's like your own discernment and your own judgment of something is right, but then someone's almost like, I feel like you might have been taught when you were young, like, no, you should, see it from a different perspective. It's almost like you may have been somebody in your earlier life where you didn't tap into your needs fully, or you didn't tap, and nurture your own emotions. Maybe you tailored yourself to others. I see you've already worked on that, so I'm not being called to go too deep into that. I feel like that's something you've already been working through. And I know that you've been working through it because these feelings of anger, frustration, and I don't know how I feel about this, they would have been there for time, but maybe you've repressed things towards like certain people, or you've kind of like ignored it. And I feel like they're coming up now because it's like, no, you're listening to me, so you can listen to these feelings. And now that you're understanding that, and you're because I feel like for some of you guys, you're seeing a situation for what it is, or you're seeing someone for what it is, or it could just be in a more general way where it's just like, I'm starting to really listen, and I don't know if I like this type of person, or I don't know if I want to be around this, and you're being called to listen. And when that boundary needs to come out, or you need to roar and speak your truth, speak it. Like, you have the right to that. Maybe you've been taught when you were young not to be too difficult, because you're very highly sensitive and intuitive. Like, you're very aware. So maybe you were taught when you were younger, just deal with it, stop being, all these emotions and feelings, like, bury them down, like you're being too difficult. So you learned how to become quote unquote easy by repressing these things. But this anger, this frustration, all of that, it needs to come out. It needs a place. It needs to be transmuted, so that those other feelings of discernment and frustration, when they come in, they can flow. This isn't something that I like. This isn't somebody that I want to be around. This isn't, and it could even be, this isn't someone I feel safe with. This isn't somebody I feel safe around. You're allowed to feel that, you know what I mean? Or when you're putting your boundaries in, or people are stepping over them, you're allowed to feel angry, because why would someone step over a boundary like that? Why would somebody do that? And you have the right then to pull your energy back. You have the right to your emotions. You have the right to those feelings. I feel like I'm feeling anger, frustration, all of that, and then I'm feeling guilty. I feel like I'm the one in the wrong. But it's like the person that's treating me that way is the one doing it, but I'm taking on the guilt. I'm taking on the frustration. I'm taking on all of that. And this is why my foot's down, and I'm allowing myself to be heard, and I'm allowing these feelings to come out, because I have the right to that. And if I'm the bad guy, then I'm the bad guy, because sometimes people can use that tactic. Sometimes people can use that tactic of like, oh, well, you're not the good guy because you're not letting me do X, Y, and Z. You don't have to be the good guy. And the thing is, in this situation, like in situations in life, you're not always going to be, in everybody's eyes, the good person. You're not always going to be the one in the right. You're not going to be, because people have their own, people are complex anyway, but people have their own view of things, and people have their own view of how things go. And, you're not always going to be the angel in the situation, especially if to be the angel in the situation, you had to kind of like lie back and take whatever it is that somebody was, doing, whatever they were doing to you. You standing up for yourself, you're not. You're going to be, the person raw. And it's reminding me of Moana, when Tafiti had her heart stolen. And, straight away then it was like, oh, she was this demon with fire in her eyes, and she was causing destruction, and she was like this evil, whatever it was. But she wasn't this evil demon god. She had her heart taken away from her, and naturally she was angry because she wanted it taken back. You know what I mean? And when Moana gives that heart back to her, and she's like, they've stolen the heart from inside you, but this does not define you. Those frustrations, that anger, all of that, it doesn't define you, but they're natural emotions that are going to come through. When you have your heart stolen, or someone disrespects you, or whatever it is, you know what I mean? When Maui comes and takes your heart, like, those are normal feelings. You're allowed to feel them, you're allowed to exercise them, and you shouldn't feel guilty for that. And you shouldn't repress them for the expense of other people, you know. And those discernments and those thoughts, you're also allowed to have them. You're allowed to have those, you know, slight judgments, or I don't know, because even if it's not the full picture, you know, sometimes we can judge things, and it's just because it doesn't really fit us in that moment. It doesn't mean that the person's a bad person. You know, we can judge that this particular pick a card that we're watching isn't something that we really want to watch, not because the person and the reader is a bad person, but just because it doesn't align with our energy, and it could do more harm than good to watch it at that point, you know. I tend to find if I'm working through very heavy, you know, emotions in the heart space, or I'm, you know, clearing something from the past, I tend to stick to readings that really get to the core root of that and clear that, instead of readings where, you know, I'm just going round and round in circles with, you know, like a particular energy from the past. I tend to go to, you know, where is this really mirroring, where is the root, and I'll tend to watch more guidance readings. Not that those other readings are bad, they're not bad, I just know that that wouldn't be the best for me in that moment, but it doesn't make those topics bad at all. I'll watch them at a time where I feel like I'm open to the energy, and it's not going to, you know, keep me festering. And I, you know, that's where judgment can be used in a healthy way, in a balanced way. Or, you know, my energy's really sensitive right now, that person really speaks their mind, they're really boisterous, I don't know if that's someone I want to be around right now. Not because they're a bad person, that's them, and, you know, they could be great, but in that particular moment, on that particular day, you might not be able to tolerate it, you know, right there and then, and you're allowed to have that judgment and have that discernment. You know, that's how we navigate, you know. And that's where I feel you're balancing that out. But right now I kind of feel guilty for maybe the way I'm feeling or I'm viewing somebody, but that's the conclusion you're coming to, and that's your conclusion. And you're allowed to have that judgment, especially if somebody's made you feel a certain way, or somebody's done something that, you know, maybe wasn't the best. You're allowed to decide, this isn't for me, or this isn't somebody I want to be around. You're allowed to do that. I almost feel like the energy I'm in when I'm tapping in, it's almost like I don't feel like I'm allowed to do that. I don't feel like I have the right to do that. I feel guilty for doing that, even though that person might not have even felt guilty, say, on doing that thing. You know what I mean? You're allowed to have those judgments. You're allowed to feel that way, and you're allowed to pull back your energy. I keep wanting to tell you you're allowed to do that. Like, this is your energy, your feelings, your emotions. I want to put that power back on you. You know what I mean? Pile number 3, guidance and messages from the water spirits for my pile number 3s, please. Guidance and messages from the water spirits for my pile number 3s. Guidance and messages from the water spirits for my pile number 3s. We have re-energize. Guidance and messages from the water spirits for my pile number 3s. Sorry, I was just nosing out the window at what the noise was. We have free spirit. Guidance and messages from the water spirits for my pile number 3s. It's very hot here in Wales today. Let me try and retrieve that card. There we go, we've got it. We also have decisions. I'm going to use the tip of my candle, the head of my candle, to cover her, because YouTube won't let that image. And the back of the deck, you have ask for help. Okay. Re-energize, free spirit, decisions. Okay. Free spirit, decisions. You know what's interesting with this pile? When I started, I was getting really distracted by just like noises around my home. It was the cats. When I lean back, this wall makes a noise. The noises outside. And then I feel like as I was tapping in again with the first set of cards, the cars outside, people walking past, and the heat today, it felt like it was all getting in my mind. Like, I almost feel like everyone's telling me how I should be or what I should be. The only compass and the only voice you should be listening to right now is yours. There's a reference to really drown out what other people are projecting or saying to you. You know your feelings, you know your energy. You're being called to really nurture that, you know, really listen to where that younger version of yourself or those past versions of yourself felt kind of like stunted, felt like they were repressed or felt like their needs were repressed. You're being called to really listen to that version of you. And also, I kind of want to tell you to go back and validate experiences that you've had. I actually see you guys going through experiences that just were not okay. And people trying to validate maybe why they've treated you a certain way. Because you're very, I feel like you tailor yourself to others a lot. Like, you've learned to do that from when you were young. And like I said, I see you working through that. But I want to validate that there's certain things that would have happened to you that were not okay. And I feel emotional to say that. And you had every right to feel hurt, anger, frustrated. You had every right to grieve that. Your emotions weren't too much or too, over the top. They were your emotions. There's certain things that I think some of you guys just should not have gone through. And you have every right to stand on that. And you have every right to speak up for yourself. And you have every right to put boundaries in. And you have every right to, if you've had to walk away from people, you've had every right to do that. I know sometimes when we walk away from people, sometimes there's a bit of a smear campaign that can happen. But you have, had every right to do that if you didn't feel safe, or if you didn't feel comfortable, or if you didn't feel like you were being honored, And you give so much of yourself, and you tailor so much of yourself to others. You listen to others. And I think you're somebody that always sees the other side. But you have every right to go, you know what, this is enough. This is where that goes down. And there's some things that I feel happened that just weren't okay. That's how I feel. And I really want to put that in. And there's a reference to go back to some experiences. Might be a little bit painful, but just validate that things weren't right, or something shouldn't have happened, or just that you shouldn't have been treated a certain way. Validate yourself in those emotions, and nurture that version of you, because I feel like sometimes you might have had to fight to be heard, or really had to shout to be heard, and things may have got way too far than they needed to. And I kind of want to push you guys to validate your own experiences, and I hope this reading serves as that as well, as someone coming through to validate what some of you guys might have been through, or what you guys might have been up against. But you have every right to feel anger, frustration, all of that. It's a really big message for your reading. So pile number 3, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.